Hey, Miss Tannery's kids, this is Miss Tannery, and we're into our second lesson from the Comprehension Tool Kit by Stephanie Harvey and Ann Goudvis, and we're talking about noticing when you lose your way, monitoring your inner voice to focus your thinking. And we're going to look at a nonfiction article from a Time magazine article that is about a really sad situation in modern Asia. And as you can see from our map, and we'll look closely at this tomorrow in class, Asia is the biggest continent with so many countries. And there's a really sad situation going on over there. Civilization in Asia began a very long time ago before it did here in North America. Chinese civilization dates back several thousand years. This long history has given us many priceless antiques such as monuments, pottery, jewelry, and art. Well, recently the Chinese and Cambodian people have fallen victim to tomb robbers who dig up and steal priceless objects that rightfully belong to the citizens of these countries and should be protected in museums. So I'm going to show you the first page of an article that I was reading. It's called Stealing Beauty. And I want you to think about what comes to mind. When you're using your following your inner conversation strategy, what comes to mind when you see these two words together, stealing beauty? I'm going to read a little bit of this article to you, and I'm going to talk about something that happened to me when I was reading this article late last night. So I'm going to begin and stop and explain what we're going to do when we're going to use our strategy. The citizens of... Here, let me get the other book. The citizens of Zioli village move lazily with a languor born of chronic underemployment. They are farmers by tradition, but exorbitant taxes have leached any profitability out of their profession. Whoa! Lots of interesting words. Lots of words that I am not familiar with, and I know some of you are probably not familiar with either. I'm going to keep on though. So on most hot days, the local peasants sit on concrete stoops, pant legs hiked up to their thighs, fanning themselves with the latest propaganda broadsheet from Beijing and waiting for dusk to fall. For it is only at night that Zioli comes alive. Well, when I was reading this article last night, I was in bed, and before I go to sleep, I put my bookmark at my place so that the next time I read it, sometimes a lot has happened since I went to sleep that night. A lot went on during the day. And the next night when I picked up this article where I'd marked my page, I had no clue. I had no clue what I was reading the night before. So I had to go back and spot where I remember I was thinking and start there. When I space out while reading, I need to stop and catch myself, and so do you. It happens to everybody. Otherwise, I may just read on without thinking, Probably the reason I spaced out in this case was because I was too tired, and I should have put my book down sooner, or my article down sooner. When these problems arise, we need to take action to fix them, because there is no reason to read without thinking or without making sense of the text. So my first example, okay, here's our anchor chart. And our anchor chart is where we're going to throw our ideas to get them out of our brain and on paper so that we don't have to constantly remember them. So we have why meaning breaks down and our fix-up strategies. What are we going to do about it? Well, my first reason in my example from reading this article late last night and then putting it down and not reading it again until the next night, I'm going to have a problem remembering what I read because of fatigue. I'm too tired. So, what are we going to do about it? Tell me what you think you would do. So in your reading log, I want you to make sure to really slow down and read your book and think about following your inner conversation. And if you're having any trouble following your inner conversation, write down in your reading log what might be the problem. And tomorrow we're going to practice fixing up our thinking and our comprehension and figuring out what to put in this column if we're too tired to read. So again, read your 30 minutes tonight in your reading log. Tell me if you lost track of your thinking and why you lost track of your thinking. And if you don't, that's okay too. Just respond and write your summary as normal. And don't forget to get on Gaggle and respond to the blog. So I'll see you tomorrow to talk more about noticing when we lose our way. Have a good night.